Forget everything you've been told about sacrificing personal time for career success. It's a lie. There's a world where taking a break, prioritizing your sleep, or even just enjoying a hobby directly translates into promotions, a higher pay, more impactful work. A world where taking care of yourself is not a distraction, but the most strategic move that you can make for your professional growth. In this video, I unpack the 7 strategies through which self-care fuels your career advancement and why that strategic pause is not just a luxury, but the catalyst you need for career acceleration. Hi, welcome back to my channel. And if we are crossing paths for the very first time, my name is Nancy. I'm a workplace leadership trainer, I'm an entrepreneur, and I've authored leadership books. You'll mostly find me on this platform discussing topics on matters of leadership, professional growth, career advancement, as you endeavor to protect your mental and emotional well-being. So if you're already in a leadership role or you aspire to take up a leadership position, kindly consider subscribing. Press that notifications bell on your screen for updates, regular updates whenever I release a new video. And thank you so much for joining and growing with this community. You've probably heard people say strategy is better than strength. For the longest time, I thought that the only way to succeed was to push harder, to do more, to burn the midnight oil and literally sacrifice myself in the process. And when I landed my first promotion, my body was ready, but my mind was all over the place. To quiet the imposter syndrome, I thought I needed to prove myself more by outworking my doubters. So I slept for fewer hours. I spent more time reading, listening to audios and other leadership resources just to up my game. But my energy levels were decreasing, so much so that I was tired going to work. I was tired coming back from work. And I remember this one time when I got home, just locked my door and I left everything, all my luggage at the door, right there, coiled into the fetal position, and blacked out of exhaustion. I only had strength to lock the door, but my energy battery was at 2%, and that was my turning point. So before you start carrying stress in silence, before you start shaking violently in front of your teams, cursing through your breath because out loud you might just attract a summary dismissal, before you start making mistakes that can be avoided, you'd probably be happy to note that self-care is the very thing that is going to keep you performing at your best consistently. So let's look into these practical everyday tools that are going to keep you sharp, respected, and well in the upward trajectory of your career. Starting with number 7, strategy number 7, sleep as a performance tool. A rested brain makes faster decisions, communicates better, picks up on details that others miss. And this strategy specifically for you if you treat sleep like a negotiable, myself included. You have a big presentation tomorrow, so you buy prep time with a late night. But then during the presentation, you find that your words just don't land. Your brain feels sticky, feels foggy, and just the tiny hiccups just feel massive. I've learned that there's a part of our brain that plans, decides, and exercises self-control. That's the prefrontal cortex. And when we sleep, this part of the brain actually regains command over our emotions. And on short sleep, that control loosens. Then you find that small conflicts just feel big. Your patience runs thin. Sleep strengthens the skills that you're paid for. So during the night, our brains consolidate learning. It locks in new skills and ideas while we sleep, from the hard skills to the soft ones. And that way you wake up more on point, even if you did not study more. So basically, you get better after you stop practicing if you sleep. So how much sleep is good sleep? My friends in the medical field are going to tell you that at least 7 hours is good. But if you're like me, this is almost unachievable. Sleep is a currency in my life. Being a mother of 4, 10 years and below with the twins, still far from the 5-year mark, their sleep patterns are not fully dialed in. So a good night's sleep in a case like mine looks like 5 hours uninterrupted. So if your case is similar, beating yourself up for being underslept is not the answer. If your nights are short, don't overcorrect it with willpower. Just correct it with physiology, bright light in the morning. Hydrate yourself as much as you can. Keep caffeine to early in the day, latest early afternoon. Objective measures show that later caffeine intake can actually reduce total sleep time and deep sleep, or even delay sleep onset. And then try and incorporate the 10 to 20 minutes power nap before 3 p.m. into your days, just to keep your brain refreshed. You want to look at sleep as a strategy. No, you're not stepping away from ambition, you're stepping into effectiveness. You're probably saying, honestly, Nancy, I'm a night owl. That's fine. You still need enough total sleep. So aim for a later but stable schedule so that your body understands that sleep is a need and not a want. You're not sleeping to be cozy, you're sleeping to be credible. So protect your hours of sleep as you would protect a client meeting. Strategy number 6, movement fuels confidence. Your body sets the tone before your words do in most high pressure work environments. So if you've been glued to a chair all morning, that stiffness has a way of following you around. And then you're going to notice that your voice is going to start feeling dull. Your ideas will probably land softer. 2 minutes of intentional movement can flip that switch. Movement shifts your energy, and energy is contagious. Just try walking into a room with grounded, confident energy, and the room is going to rise. People are going to listen. Your energy is going to multiply. Then when you arrive collapsed, the room is going to sink. Why? The room unconsciously matches your tempo. Your posture and your breathing signal safety or stress, and people pick up on it instantly. So a few leader moves that you can use intentionally starting today to bring the right tempo. Stand to answer the toughest questions. That way you project steadiness and the room is going to settle. Walk literally to the whiteboard. Movement builds momentum. It pulls attention and opens collaboration. And also try using open posture when you disagree, like feet planted, shoulders soft, palms visible, because here you're inviting dialogue instead of defensiveness. Bring your team in. Say something like, a quick 2-minute stand just to stretch so that we can think better. And this tiny bounce, even just 1 to 2 minutes, can actually lift focus and mood long enough to change how you show up. Movement is going to boost your blood flow and wake up your brain's attention systems. So you find that you'll be breathing deeper and your nervous system is going to read that as a mark of safety. Just tell yourself micro movements contribute to macro presence. And if you have a hard time checking into the gym on a regular basis, there are micro movements that you can actually use between meetings to stay alert. I'm talking about, the 60-second reset between calls, 20 seconds stand up, shake out your hands and arms, 20 seconds slow shoulder rolls, 10 back, 10 forward, 20 seconds inhale through your nose to the count of 4, then exhale to the count of 6, then repeat. And you'll notice that you have a taller posture, calmer voice, brighter face. And you can also try the 2-minute confidence primer, especially before the high stakes meetings, like 30 seconds to brisk walk, either in the hallway or just in place. Then the next 30 seconds to hinge forward slightly, reach your arms overhead and return. Then the next 30 seconds, do a spinal twist standing, just gentle left, right. And the last 30 seconds, do box breathing, 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. And now you're alert and composed instead of wired and jittery. And then for the Remote Workers Association, for that mid-afternoon slump, just set your calm at eye height and stand for the next meeting, especially if you've been doing back-to-back meetings. And then place your feet hip width, soften your knees, lengthen through to the crown of your head, and speak on the exhale for a steadier tone. And you're going to notice that you have more vocal resonance and presence. What you want to look out for here is your energy before and after the 60-second reset. For example, then the room temperature also, did the tension drop? Did the engagement rise? Did you experience clarity of contribution in your conversations? This is you working up your presence in leadership spaces. Strategy number 5, nutrition as brain fuel. Your brain is your career's most valuable asset and it runs on fuel. Just think of it like this. You would not run a big presentation on 2% of laptop battery, but we try to run our brains on caffeine, on sugar, on adrenaline, sometimes even skipping meals altogether. And then we panic, when we are snappy at 2 in the afternoon or foggy at 4 in the evening. When you're paid to think, to lead, to make judgment calls, then your brain is the product, and that product needs the right inputs, what I call steady fuel. So proteins are going to give you the building blocks for focus and mood. Consider adding eggs, Greek yogurt, lentils to your meal plans, then fiber-rich carbs like brown rice, quinoa, whole grains. These are going to give you a slow, steady release of energy. Then healthy fats, like olive oil, nuts, avocado. These ones do help with the brain cells to communicate, and water is the delivery system. So 1.5 liters in the morning, another 1.5 liters in the afternoon works fine. Just tell yourself low hydration is equivalent to low clarity. When your blood sugar is stable, your mood is going to stabilize as well. That means fewer snappy comments in the stressful moments and more emotional control where and when it counts. So at each of your meals, just aim for one of each. And if from experience your voice shakes, your brain goes blank from blood sugar dips, then you want to invest in your desk drawer emergency kit. Just keep some nuts, roasted chickpeas, whole grain crackers, oat cakes within reach, such that when lunch slips, just in case, this prevents the 3 p.m. crash. And then adopt the habit of pairing coffee with water to reduce jitters. You want caffeine that serves you and not the other way around. And preferably take it after food, the latest early in the afternoon, so that you can sleep well. And when you feel slumped or sluggish during the day, try the 3-minute, brisk walk or stair laps with a big glass of water, a small protein bar, and you're going to feel human again within 5 to 10 minutes. Food is not a reward. It's the input that powers the outcomes. So for every strategy that you adopt from this video, try a simple weekly experiment and test the before and after results. And as you watch those scores climb, use that data in your self-review. Note down any other changes that you may experience, like clarity of thoughts, patience during tense moments. And here you're literally telling yourself, I don't eat to be good, I eat to be effective. Just a quick note, this is general guidance, not medical advice. So for very specific health concerns, please check with your personal dietitian. Strategy number 4, connection and support systems. Leadership can be lonely, and I talk about this a lot in most of my videos. It's very easy to carry everything silently, believing that we have to handle it all. But when you carry everything alone, your brain overestimates the risk and underestimates your capacity. Nobody rises alone. So when you have the right people around you, even 1 or 2 trusted allies, you borrow belief, you share the load, and the scary things just become doable. Support systems don't just make you feel better. They make you bolder. They steady your nerves. They help you with fresh ideas. Look at it this way. Calm people. Just a 5-minute call with the right listening ear can turn panic into poise. Every once in a while, we need that borrowed confidence. When someone credible just says, you've got this, your brain treats it like evidence. Support systems are also there to highlight shared brain power. The right advisors will actually spot blind spots, so your risks become calculated risks. So to align yourself along self-care lines, you want to build your support stack with 5 roles, not 50 people. It should include at least a peer ally, someone who sits beside you for reality checks and, sense making. A sponsor, someone who's above you and can name you for rooms and roles that you're not in yet. Then a truth teller, someone who's kind but direct and prevents self-sabotage. A skill shaper, someone who is going to help you with specific gaps in your skill set, like finance, data, speaking. And of course, an energy friend, someone who restores you fast by reminding you who you are, and they walk and laugh with you through crisis. Just remember, one person can actually have multiple roles here. And then draw 5 circles and label them with the roles above. Write the names that you already have and add a blank circle that represents you. So for your peer ally, you could actually make a simple request along the lines of, could you be my thought partner for 10 minutes? I want to pressure test how I'm going to pitch this. Then when it comes to your sponsor, try a monthly sponsor cadence. Just send a 1-page wins snapshot and what you want to do next. Say something like, I'm targeting this role or project, and if my work continues at this level, would you be comfortable naming me when opportunities like A, B, or C come up? Then for your truth teller, consider the 90-second courage call. Say something like, I need your honest opinion. I need your honest eyes on this. What am I really missing? These people reflect your evidence back to you. Just clean facts, less feelings. And in all this, pay it forward. Say, I'll lift you in rooms that you're not in. Can you do that for me? Can we do that for each other? Then for the remote workers, create a signal boost squad of 3 peers, where you agree to react, where you agree to add context or echo each other's key points in chat during meetings. Just aim to make it measurable, like track weekly the number of times your name was put forward, your impact in meetings. Did you move a decision forward? Yes or no? And you're going to notice a positive rise when your support stack is active. The right people don't just comfort you. These people compound you. This is how bravery turns into momentum, and this is how momentum turns into promotions. Strategy number 3, mental space for strategic thinking. If every minute of your working day is filled with noise, like emails, endless meetings, you're operating on reaction mode and you're letting everyone else's urgency set your agenda, and reaction mode has a way of shrinking your time horizon. So you find that you solve today's fires, but you miss next quarter's opportunities. You say too fast, you decide too shallow, and at the end of the day, you're exhausted with nothing that actually moved the needle. In leadership, you're going to be valued not for how fast you react, but for how far ahead you can see. You win on foresight. So to lead, you need space. Even 20 focused minutes can actually change the quality of your judgment. Noise, yes, is going to make you feel productive, but progress is quiet. And the plan here is to create space where your work gets deeper, where your tone gets calmer, and your mental and emotional wellness stay protected. So for starters, go for those 2 quiet power blocks a day, like 25 to 45 minutes each. And on your calendar, title them as focus. And then batch the noise, like, check inbox or chat at only this time or this time of the day. Your teams are going to learn your rhythm, and this is going to help regulate anxiety levels. And then each morning, pick your top 1 priority for the day and make that your first focus block, especially if you're higher up in the hierarchy where every mail, every call competes for your attention. And also consider building buffers into your daily routines, like 5 to 10 minutes between meetings just to breathe, to stand, and to plan your next move. And for your notification hygiene, consider turning off non-critical alerts. Like if something is urgent, a call will come through. Anything that is not tied to your weekly 3 outcomes should be given the least attention during your work hours. And at the end of the day, rate if your energy levels go up. How is your overall output on a scale of 1 to 5? Protecting your mental space goes beyond superficial self-care. What you're aiming for here is higher productivity and better work-life integration. So as you look into this, as you look into these focus blocks, ask yourself, what decision am I avoiding? What, if done today, makes everything else easier or irrelevant? If I say yes to this, what am I saying no to? And journal it so that it doesn't stay in your mind. Just tell yourself, a healthy mental space is your competitive advantage in this demanding professional landscape. Strategy number 2, boundaries are equivalent to respect. Boundaries don't push people away. Boundaries build respect. A boundary is not a wall. It's a door with a clear handle. It tells people how to work with you so that you can deliver your best. That's not pushing people away. You don't want to be the go-to person for everything that no one else wants to do. I'm thinking last minute slides, the weekend quick fixes, meetings with no agenda. In leadership, you're not admired for being available 24/7. You're admired for your sense of focus and your courage to prioritize what truly matters. So boundary setting should be intentional. That's your way of telling your peers and your teams that, yes, you can rely on me to deliver, and I'm going to tell you the truth about what it takes. That's respect. And you're going to notice that people trust leaders who are clear about when and how work gets done. And also, when you value your time, others are going to value it too. Self-respect signals value. Your teams are always watching you, so your boundaries subconsciously give them permission to set theirs, and that's a healthier work culture. But to set the ball rolling, pick 3 non-negotiables. Just write them in your notes. For example, no meetings between 9 and 10:30. That's time for focus. No after hours replies unless it's urgent. And then put them where people can see them with calendar titles like focus block, email footers like typical response 24 business hours for urgent call. And also consider the one-time exception language so that you don't train bad habits. Like, I can make a one-time exception today, just to keep quality, but let's align on a 48-hour lead time moving forward. And the consequence and follow through should also be clear, kind, but firm. Like when requests arrive after like 6:30 in the evening, I pick them up at 9 in the morning. That way, after work hours will remain respected. Then for team leads, you want to set a working agreement like no meeting Fridays after 2 p.m. Response windows between this time and this time, because we protect deep work. And then you also want to get in the habit of backing your people in public, like Susan's offline after 6:30. I ask them to pick up the work tomorrow at 9 so we get quality. Not everyone is going to respect your boundaries at first. So you want to know when you can flex without losing respect. You want to give your criteria to say yes, like could be safety or legal grounds, executive crisis. And if you notice disrespect, name it as rare. Like given X, let's prevent repeats by doing Y and then recover. And strategic self-care is not a break from work, but an investment in work. So embrace your boundary lines. Strategy number 1, celebration and self-compassion. If you have never stopped to recognize your wins, you are training your brain to believe that you're never enough. That moment when you hit one goal and before you can even breathe, you're on to the next. No pause, no acknowledgement. Self-compassion is not a weakness, and celebration isn't fluff, it's feedback. When you recognize your wins, you retrain your brain to believe you're enough and also to make braver moves. So you want to train your brain that effort breeds results. Why? Because your brain is Velcro for problems and Teflon for positives. So if you don't hold a win for a few seconds, it slips away, and unrecognized wins leave a permanent not enough baseline. Recognized wins, on the other hand, create a calibrated internal scoreboard that actually leads to steadier confidence, better risk taking, clearer presence. So to activate your celebration antenna, start the 3-minute Friday wins review. Just ask, what worked? What did I learn? Who did I help? And write 3 bullets. That's it. And then invest in the evidence bank starting today if you can. Just create one folder called proof and drop in your thank you notes, your metrics, your shipped work, your screenshots. That you can open it before hard conversations, or reviews, and list what you finish. Start the one needle mover. And this is going to fight the I did nothing story. And then have a celebration ritual that you'll actually do. Just pick one tiny victory walk or victory dance around the block, or your favorite tea or a song that you love, and place it in the evidence bank. I hope you got value from this video, and if you did, please give it a like and consider subscribing and also sharing it with a friend or two who stand to benefit from this kind of content. And if you're tired of carrying ambition like it's a burden, this is exactly the work that I do with women working in high pressure work environments. I help you rise in your career without sacrificing your peace of mind or your health and your relationships. So if this is you, check the description box below for the link, and let's explore how we can work together. And also have a look at this video right here on the 7 subtle reasons managers burn out and how leaders stay strong. It actually goes hand in hand with this video. Thank you so much for your company, and see you on the next one. Bye.